In my hope in future is we want to make this sustainable so that after me, I'm old, because young people may come and they may upgrade this factory.
I want to do something here because it's my first job. We want to export, but there is no customers to buy. That's why we are facing a problem.
Sikkim is known as the Garden of Eden of India and is the least populated Indian state with approximately 500,000 residents. Located amidst the eastern Himalayas, it is nestled between Tibet, Bhutan, Nepal, and West Bengal. It has scenic beauty, lush vegetation, and a stretch of mountainous forests that few places in the world can rival. 3 hours drive away from the town of Ravangla, South Sikkim, lies Borong-Polok, a small and remote village. Small but beautiful, the village has much to offer to its guests. It is a place rich with traditions and customs, and is fast becoming a favorite tourist spot. More importantly, the village is known for its people, who radiate with life and simplicity, living together in much communal spirit. This is the story of Argali.
This factory is established on 2003, July 20th. Before this factory, I was a primary teacher. At that time also, I helped to establish this factory.
Occupying an area less than half a football field, the unit was set up with the aim of bettering the lives of the villagers by providing them with skills as well as employment opportunities. The unit is a community-based project and is largely funded by the Sikkim Development Foundation with equity participation from the local community.
Through one of our projects, which was supported by AUSAID, which took initiative to create income and employment in rural areas in Sikkim, we set up this handmade paper unit as a community-based project with the local community in Borong and Polok.
When the unit was established, some villagers came down to supply building material like timber and bamboo. Others provided cash, land, or volunteered their time. In turn, these people became equity holders of the unit. There are a total of 7 workers in the factory, with women forming the bulk of them. The main reason women were sought for this role is because of the much intricate work involved in making the paper. Although these women are illiterate, they do their work with much expertise and due diligence. While the women are involved in the actual making of the paper, the men working in the factory play more of a supervisory role, such as product development and administering delivery orders. Paper has traditionally been made in Sikkim from the bark of the Argali, or Edgeworthia gardneri plant. It is abundantly available and grows widely in high altitude areas of Sikkim. The plant does not have major usage in the daily chores of the village society and is used mainly to make ropes and paper. Just as simple the task may seem, this is in fact a tedious and time-consuming process.
I myself was thinking there were a lot of raw materials around this place and everywhere in the Sikkim. Then I thought if there is a paper unit like this, and I thought the surrounding peoples may get some help from this raw material.
Through the help of the Sikkim Development Foundation, it allowed the villagers to grow the Argali plant and supply the unit with raw Argali material. This provides the villagers with additional income. In addition, it has helped those who are under the poverty line to tide over bad harvest seasons and supplement their family income. Once the bark has been cleaned, it is then transferred over to the beating machine and made into pulp. This machine is the only power-operated machinery used in the entire paper-making process. Throughout the year, power failures are common in the region, and these frequently prove to be a challenge for the workers. Adopted from a traditional Japanese paper-making technique, the pulp is first poured into a holding tank. It is then macerated and stirred evenly with water and glue. During the winter season, the temperature in Borong-Polok could drop as low as 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. In view of the cold, younger workers are usually the ones in charge of handling processes such as these. She uses a handmade bamboo frame to lift the mashed pulp in the form of a thin stratum, leaving a sheet of matted fibre onto the screened surface. The lifting process is not as easy as it looks. It involves great skill and care. This is because at this stage, the wet fibres are very soft and delicate, and therefore they can easily tear. For Geeta, it took her about 2 months to actually master the lifting process. The fibre is then peeled open slowly and stacked on top of one another. While the lifting process is taking place, Madam Sukmaya is helping to peel off the dried Argali paper.
फ्याक्ट्रीले धेरै मद्दत गर्दैछ किनभने मेरो भनाइमा यही छ कि मेरो घरमा चाहिँ अब नोकरीदार गर्ने छैन सर्भिसर कसै छैन सरकारबाट हामीलाई केही छैन यही कारणले फ्याक्ट्री खोलिदिएर चाहिँ फ्याक्ट्रीमा लागेर चाहिँ मलाई सहायता चाहिँ छ नानीहरुलाई अब त्यही पैसाले पढाउनु पर्यो
Madam Sukmaya has been with the factory since it was first established. She was one of the 3 workers who was sent for a training course in Kalimpong, West Bengal. A mother of 3 children, she is also the breadwinner in her family. With a job at the factory, it has brought about greater flexibility for her to earn more income as compared to when she was a canteen stallholder. However, given her age, she cannot handle heavy jobs for long hours. Hence, she is given lighter tasks to handle, such as brushing off the paper fibers and drying out the prepared paper.
यहाँनिर मैले सबै गर्नु पहिला मैले पेपर पुरै बनाउँथे अब अहिले मेरो बिमारले गर्दा सक्दिन चिसोमा चाहिँ त्यकाले सुकाउनु अनि ब्यागहरु बनाउनु या त प्रोडक्टतिर यस्तो के लाउनु सबैमा
Today, the factory manager, Mr. Karka, is doing a special type of dyeing process that uses mainly natural ingredients.
मैले अब यो फ्याक्ट्रीमा आउनु भन्दा अगाडि कुनै ट्रेनिङहरु त लिएको थिएन तर पनि म यहाँ जब सरले सिबी सरले ल्याउनु भयो तब यहाँ आएर फ्याक्ट्रीमा हेर्दाखेरि अब कतिवटा कामहरु आफै हेरेर पनि एक्सपीरियन्स भयो र कतिवटा चाहिँ म आफै गेज गरेर पनि कतिवटा कामहरुमा एक्सपीरियन्स भयो र कतिवटा चाहिँ काम गर्दा गर्दा पनि आफै पनि एक्सपीरियन्स भयो
There are basically 2 ways of dyeing the paper. One method is the usual ink proof. Another way is through natural dyeing, where leaves, flowers, and plant branches can be used to decorate the paper. This is a tedious and time-consuming process. Once the papers are ready, it is then carried over to the pressing machine to drain off the excess water. The pressing machine uses much strength, and thus only Mr. Karka is able to do the task. In Borong-Polok, there are no gas facilities, and firewood is usually the main source of cooking fuel.
धेरै हुन्छ कोही बेला अब मेनली चाहिँ अब यहाँ काम गर्दाखेरि यो प्रेसहरू पेपरको प्रेसहरू उचालेर ल्याउनु अब लेडिजहरूले सक्दैन त्यति बेला अब दुईजना तीनजना लेडिजहरू एक साइड राखेर अर्को साइडमा म एक्लै भएर ल्याउँदाखेरि चाहिँ अलिकति अब कोही बेला बेसी पेपर बनाएको छ अनि त्यसमा अब
Mr. Karka, being the only man working alongside the other women, is also in charge of cooking the argali bark. The purpose of cooking the argali bark is to kill germs and soften the fibers. Caustic soda is used to catalyze the whole process. The water temperature and the length of cooking time plays an important role as it determines the softness of paper output. Thus, Mr. Karka has to observe the fire regularly to make sure that the cooking time is just right. Once cooking is done, the bark will then be transferred into a holding tank for cooling and washing. The washing will be done twice in two separate holding tanks. Thereafter, the job is then passed on to the women to assist with the cleaning.
The woman came, those who haven't read, they are uneducated, illiterate, and we appointed them.
The women workers, although they are illiterate, are willing to learn on the job and help one another. Laila, a 20-year-old, is the youngest worker in the factory, and she has since mastered the technique of lifting paper from her older peers, such as Madam Sukmaya.
साह्रो अब उनीहरूले नजान्दैसम्म त साह्रै हुन्छ तर पनि पर्फेक्ट बनाएँ मैले एक दुईजना सजिलै भयो.
Because the women are illiterate, it is up to Mr. Karka to take charge of the job orders and coordinate production schedules. At times, Mr. Karka will also help with designing new products for the factory. Just as in any production business, there has to be a sales team. Here, the team consists of just one man, named Mr. Jagan.
I used to go a trade fair like Delhi International Trade Fair, then Northeast Trade Fair like that. We want to export, but there is no customers to buy. That's why we are facing a problem. We are so difficult to fulfill the order because due to electricity, lack of electricity, then due to lack of transportation also difficult to us.
Given the rising popularity of such handmade paper units in the region, remaining competitive is an important factor. For this factory, however, its plan to export the paper out of Borong-Polok remains uncertain. Although Mr. Jagan goes on trade fairs regularly in New Delhi, there is only so much this man can do on his own. In addition, there are issues such as landslides affecting transportation and power cuts to add to his burden. To distinguish the Argali products from its competitors, Mr. Jagan has to consistently look out for potential markets and source for new product developments. Even so, the success remains to be seen.
My role is as an executive director, means to see everything what is going on about this factory. Even though I am helping here without getting anything from this factory, any money, I don't take any money from this factory.
To Mr. CB, the monetary benefits are not important. What matters to him most is sustaining the factory's survival. With the factory, it creates more jobs for the villagers. He hopes that through his voluntary efforts, can in turn encourage other people to do the same and help the poor. Such is the vision of this man.
We have made a conscious effort to include women because though gender is not a very big issue in our communities, but still we wanted women to come forward and participate in these visible economic activities. Generally what we say is like, women don't do any work, but actually they do a lot of work because even household work is considered a lot of work.
The women, in turn, are paid 7 rupees per hour, whereas Mr. Karka is paid 14 rupees an hour. Although the salary may not seem much, it means a sustainable living to them. They have not had any formal training nor have worked in an organized business enterprise. Through this factory, the workers, particularly the women, are empowered with real skills which would not have otherwise been possible if they had remained in agricultural farming. Inadvertently, the roles of women in Borong today are just as important as the men.
I want to do something here because it's my first job. It's my also a last job.
Despite such difficulties, the paper unit continues to innovate and seeks to improve itself, welcoming suggestions on improving its designs or techniques. Such is the spirit of the villagers and the vision of its founders, such as Mr. C.
I am hoping to encourage these people. If we always run after the money, we can't help others.